Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in. And if you've been here before, smash the like button on the way in. I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. And today I am truly excited to talk about a new knife, a brand new knife from DC Blades. And DC Blades has been around for a minute, but not in the capacity that you might think about, because while they have designed other knives before, this is actually their first self-branded release. And DC Blades is the collaboration between Tier 1 Gear and Old Squirrel Knives. They did the Scythe, which was very popular, and they recently came out with the XL Scythe. But now it's time for a knife that I've waited for truly for over a year. And they did the pre-order, and then they stopped the pre-order because they decided to make some changes. And now it's been over a year, and baby, it's here. First of all, love the sticker. It's extremely heavy metal. Also, love this box. This box is pretty sweet. It's magnetic clasp on the side. Very simple. In and out. Not a whole lot going on there. Check it out. This is the DC Blades Cedo. And as you can see, this one has indeed passed the QC check, or at least that's what they say. We're going to go ahead and find out for ourselves. Ooh, guys, take a look at this. That is an absolutely gorgeous finish on those handle scales. Beautiful. Absolutely. Oh, with the gold pivot collar. Yeah, no, this is great. And here's the thing. DC Blades reached out to me and they said, hey, we know it's been a minute. Did you still want to check out the Cedo? We're actually releasing it this month. And I had to get in on this. I said, yes, please do. Please do. Because I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. This blade shape, this knife shape is absolutely gorgeous.
Did you ever think that maybe there's more to life than being really ridiculously good looking?
And we've got a bevy of premium materials and design language. And the thing about it is that they waited over a year to release this because they were trying to get it right. And for me personally, when it comes to knife designs, we see so many day in and day out, month over month designs that honestly just looks like somebody over at some OEM decided to go down a checklist and go, yep, check. Here's a new design. But it's not really a new design. It's just something that's the same as something else that has a slight change to it. But something about this just looks new to me. And it has a feel that I love. Oh man, the ergos on here feel fantastic. Now you might be wondering, okay, that's all good and fun and everything, but what does it cost? What is it made out of? I've got the spec sheet right next to me. 7.3 inches overall with a 3.2 inch blade that's made of M390. Now you can get this in a couple different variations. This is the DLC variant, but if you don't want it in DLC, you can get it in satin as well. The edge is flat ground, but the blade itself is actually a compound grind. It's a frame lock, and for lockup, we're looking somewhere in the realm of, I'd say, about 20%. Is it locked up and locked out? Yeah, like it's doing 25 to life. We're definitely good to go there. What about the action? The action is really smooth. It feels intentional, smooth, hydraulic, and because this is a DLC blade, I do imagine that ultimately that will break in and just get smoother and smoother over time. Blade centering is perfect, no issue there. How's the detent? that detent's really good. It's really clicky. I don't know if you guys can hear this. It makes an audible clicking sound, and it sucks the blade back in right when it gets down. Yep, right about there. That is a strong detent. I like that. I like that a lot. For deployment options, we've got, of course, a fuller that goes the length of the blade, and then, of course, also a flipper tab that has some adequate sawtooth-esque style jimping. Can you push button it? Oh, easily. easily. Light switch, of course, yeah, that swings forward really well. I like to talk about how the D10 is tuned, and I would say that the D10 is definitely tuned on the heavier side, more towards the flipper tab than towards the deployment fuller, but you can definitely get a nice fuller flick out of this. I don't think that the fuller is too stiff. I don't think that it takes too much energy to go ahead and get this to deploy. Can you fail it? Let's find out. That was pretty light. It's still deployed. Come on. So far, it's not failing. Okay, so you got to seriously limp wrist this in order to fail the deployment. I don't think that that's bad at all. That D10 is perfect. Now on the handle scales, it is these titanium milled handle scales that have a coating on there. Now I'm being told that this is something called, correct me if I'm wrong, a nano ceramic coating, which is not necessarily the same thing as Cerakote, but look at the shine and the sheen on there. It's supposed to make it a lot more scratch resistant. You might be looking at this pivot. That is a single-sided captive pivot running on ceramic bearings, and I do have the gold pivot collar on this one, but you can also get it in black or blue. Personally, I think that the gold is definitely the way to go. As for this inlay is perfectly positioned to actually cover up part of the lock bar, and that's nice because it's going to mean that you're not going to be putting too much pressure on that lock bar when you go to deploy it. And it's also going to act as an over travel stop to make sure that you don't go too far this direction. That's nice. I appreciate that. It means that the knife, of course, will last longer. For the pocket clip, we've got a 3D milled titanium pocket clip, and it's not deep carry in the slightest. In fact, you're going to have about this much sticking out of your pocket. Some people might be bothered by that. I'm not one of those people. I actually do enjoy being able to have a piece of the knife sticking out of the pocket so that I can pull it free. Looking at the hardware, that hardware appears to be T8. Let's go ahead and confirm. I've got my T8 right here. Yep. T8 body screws, T8 pivot, T8 pocket clip. Absolutely. You got it. So we got T8 hardware all the way around. We've got a 3D milled titanium backspacer. We've got this beautifully finished nano ceramic titanium milled handle scales. And I really enjoy the look of that milling going across the side of those handle scales. Feels really good in the hands. That's nice. Now, it is actually a little bit on the smaller side as far as a knife is concerned, being that it's 7.3 inches overall. It's not what most people would consider to be a full-size knife. Now, you might be wondering, okay, can you give us a comparison? What would you compare this to as far as size and shape and carry profile? I can really only think of one knife that would be a good comparison for this, and that would be my Spyderco Para 3. It's going to be a little bit longer than the Para 3, but not by a whole lot. As far as carry profile in the pocket, it's actually very close to my Para 3. I would say it's a little bit thinner than the Para 3 in the handle scales, which is kind of surprising. As far as the blade profile, it's a pretty tall blade profile. Again, very close to the Spyderco Para 3. Now on this inlay, you do have two options. You can go with the basket weave carbon fiber, or you can go with a micarta. Now for me, it's got to be carbon fiber all day. That aesthetic is absolutely killer. I love that, but it also comes down to how well does it cut. So of course, we're going to go through some paper, and then we're going to go through some cardboard. It feels pretty thin here behind the blade. It's a flat grind, and it rises all the way, almost all the way up to the top right there. So it should be pretty slicey, but let's go ahead and see how it turns out. guys. That is, I shouldn't be surprised, and I shouldn't be surprised because I have definitely tested this edge with my thumb, and you can tell how sharp a knife is going to be if you do the thumb test. If you just, you know, lightly run the meat of your finger over the edge, if it feels sticky, that means, generally speaking, that you're going to have a nice sharp edge. And then the edge geometry itself also lends to some very slicey behavior. As far as what I like, there's a lot to like here. I love the T8 hardware all the way around. I love the fact that they included a backspacer. I love the shortened Bowie style blade shape. They will call this a clip point, but to me, I see Bowie all day. I love the coating that they put on those handle scales. That is gorgeous. It's kind of a gunmetal gray. Yeah, give us more nano ceramic. I love the fact that the inside of the handle scales are milled out. I love the fact that I don't have to worry about lockup and lockout and blade centering and the quality of life type things that comes with a $225 knife. I absolutely love the way that this gold pivot collar pops. I don't have any dislikes about this knife, but I do have a suggestion. I would love to see a version 2 where we can actually have that same pivot collar right here on the show side. That would really set off the show side of these handle scales, and I think that it would just look really good. It's not a detractor, it's just something that I would personally like to see. I also wouldn't mind it if they move this pocket clip up a little bit, because that would allow for a little bit deeper of a carry while still having enough hanging out for people like me to be able to get a grip on the end of these handle scales when pulling it out of the pocket. And I would love to see inlays in more carbon fiber options. There's so much cool carbon fiber out there these days. I would love to see this with an 80s camo carbon or a fat carbon inlay. That would just be really cool. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below on the DC Blades Cedo. Guys, this is going to be linked in the description down below. It will not be an affiliate link, but they only made 120 of these. Are you going to pick one up? If not, why not? Let's have that discussion down below. And if you watched this far and you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And by the way, if you want to watch more awesome knife and EDC content, go ahead and click on one of the videos that pops up next.